How is everybody doing? And welcome back for another Strength Chat episode. Today, I have got a very special guest for you all. Today, I'm joined by an IFBB pro bodybuilder. He's got over 10 years of coaching and competitive bodybuilding experience. Today, I'm joined by the one and only, I'm hoping I'm going to pronounce his surname correctly, Cuthbert. How are you doing?
It's actually Sylvester Chelling now, as I'm actually married now.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I've taken the wife's name on as well, just because she means a lot to me, and so do her family. So yeah, that's Sylvester Chelling now officially. But yeah, you've not done bad, mate. You've not done bad with that one. So yeah, appreciate it.
Spot on. Well, thanks a lot for taking the time to jump on. Been looking forward to talking to you since we set this up. How are you? What have you been up to recently? What's been happening in your world?
It's been pretty manic, to be honest. Both myself and the wife competed at Arnold Classic 6 weeks ago now, and it's been pretty amazing since, because for us, it's always a pursuit of progression, and that's all we do. So, it's been a lot of shows week to week. So it's definitely been great, because we do like to stay busy. So it's been a busy few weeks. A couple more shows left to go, and then it's going to be a little bit of downtime until the Olympia. But for us, we're pretty much stuck into our recovery phase. Off season has started for me, so I am a full pellet into that. And Meg, she's fully recovered now. She's flying as well, so she's about to officially start her off season as well. So it's all exciting, and definitely got a lot, to go through in terms of coming months, and obviously the Olympia as well. I've got 3 clients now doing the Olympia. Wow. So that'll be amazing. Obviously, both myself and Meg will be out there in Vegas for 9 days as well, catching up with clients. As I do have a couple of clients that live there, and there's going to be a lot of my clients out there too. So it's going to be amazing. But as far as what I've been up to, mate, the usual work, training, sleeping, eating. That's it. That's what we love to do. So
nice, plenty of things to keep you busy then. And I know I did, quite a brief introduction there, but I know from seeing the content that you put out there, obviously, and the YouTube as well that you do. For anyone listening who might not know your background, your experience, and basically your career so far, if you like, just want to give a little bit of a background to yourself.
Yeah, of course. So I have always been a bodybuilder through and through. I don't have any academic education unless it comes to bodybuilding and obviously nutrition and actual training. So, for me, I've always been all in with that. So my background, I've been competing since I was 16. I first started competitively boxing since the age of 11. And then I wrapped boxing up when I was 15. And I did my first bodybuilding show at 16. So I actually prepped my first client for a bodybuilding comp when I was 17. Right. So it started a long time ago for me. And it's just been a constant progression from there. I opened my first gym in 2017, January 9th. And alongside of that, I've always coached. I PT'd up until that year. And then from that year in 2017, that's when I started coaching full time. And obviously alongside of that, competing has always been the driving factor of everything that I do. And my own bodybuilding, my own progression. I'm not the type of coach that says clients first, because for me, in order for me to be great at giving back to my clients, I need to prioritize my own progression as well. And I feel like a lot of the coaches that say they are client first, they often do not put enough time in the trenches to be able to give back a better service themselves. So I feel like they are shooting themselves in the foot, because they just don't have the experience that is needed in order to be able to lead. Because for me, coaching is about leading. In order to be a leader, you have to be able to execute better yourself. And if your client's executing better than yourself, there's a lot to call for all that. So my background, competitive bodybuilder, I have been a competitive in boxing at national level as well. So for me, it's always been about lifting weights, nutrition, bodybuilding, all in since a very young age, and being able to do so well and stay so disciplined with the bodybuilding side of things has also allowed me to be quite successful in owning a gym. And obviously now into properties, etc. So, for me, bodybuilding is what drives my progression. So prioritizing myself allows me to really prioritize other avenues for me to be successful. So that's pretty much a brief overview. of getting into it without kind of getting too deep into subjects that probably don't need to be talking about.
Yeah, definitely. That was a nice transition there, because
Yeah.
from that, obviously, mentioned bodybuilding, you mentioned, opening a gym, opening, coaching as well. And, you can see from, what you've said there in terms of that passion and that drive to set the standard, and be that leader and lead by example. How do you sort of separate out those three areas, if you like, the business, the coaching, and then obviously your own training, being an athlete yourself? Was that something that took time to refine over, or is that something that you constantly trying to strive to maintain and push those standards, if that kind of makes sense?
So we all have same hours in the day. It's just how we use them.
Yeah.
There's two people in the world: the people that like to look like they're busy, and people that are actually busy getting shit done. There's a big difference. I am very efficient, and my time management skills are pretty great. From the time I wake up, I don't waste time. I get after it. So for me, I find it quite laughable, people that say they don't have time to do this or that as a coach, because you could be working with a very large number of clients. If you treat it like a proper job, you have times where you work, you have time scheduled where you do your social media and everything else. You're going to have infinite time spare after you finish work, because I know my workload compared to other people, and I know the time frame at which I am able to complete my tasks versus they do. But the difference is, when I work, I work. I am sat in my office. There is nothing in my space apart from my work phone and my Mac opened. That is it. When I'm zoned into my work, what I can do in 3 hours, others probably need 6-7 hours, because for me, it's straight work. There's no distractions, right? There's no personal phone. There's no social media. There's no procrastination. When I'm working, I am working. I focus on one task at a time. So it's a case of managing days where this is my training block. This is my meal times. This is my training time. This is my time I spent on education. This is my reading time. And this is my downtime and recovery time. If you can allocate that and actually execute, there's no excuse for anyone to be needing to take the foot off their own personal development versus the business. Because personally, for me, if one suffers, it all suffers. It's like a domino effect.
Yeah.
So I very much disagree with the current culture where people have to almost promote themselves, saying they're a coach first. It's like, okay, but there's a reason that you are unable to actually make progress yourself. And that is down to your own flaws that you need to work on, which again, if you have these flaws at hand and you're unable to do these tasks yourself, how are you going to really thrive and be a great coach if you're unable to actually have good skills when it comes to time management and actually committing to your own routine to complete these tasks? So for me, it's very easy to do, because again, it's a case of being actually busy, not pretending that you are busy, and getting shit done. I think that is the biggest thing that makes the difference. And obviously, I'm very fortunate to have amazing business partners that really show me what can be done. Yeah. And amazing friends. And obviously my wife, she's a complete machine. One, she's extremely organized, she's extremely regimented and disciplined, just as I am. But when you have someone that was an elite athlete since a very young age, show me the ropes back in the day, that's what's really opened up as to how well I can do as an athlete. And being a great athlete doesn't have to take away from being great in business. It really doesn't. And, my business partners have showed that. She has shown me that. And the people I'm around also show me that. And then generally the people that fail to do so, they also aren't that great when it comes to making their own progress.
Yeah.
So I definitely think a lot of people need to kind of look deep inside as to why is it that you cannot commit to your own progression and, do great in business? Because I believe that for me personally, my own progression is the driving force of everything I do. Because when I'm making progress, when I'm moving forward, and that's not just bodybuilding, that's developing my own knowledge, that's me actually making progress across all areas of life, that's when I'm the happiest. That's when I'm the most motivated, the most productive. And that is when I'm able to give back at 100% to everything.
Yeah.
Food for thought for anyone listening.
No, definitely. I think that was some really, really good points. Being able to get stuff done. And one thing, it might be a little bit of a tangent there, but you just mentioned there about obviously your wife Meg, your business partners, training partners. What are kind of your thoughts on, because there's that thought, isn't there, of creating a culture, surrounding yourself with like-minded people to push yourself on, rather than sort of like what you mentioned there, wasting time scrolling through on social media and not actually busy. Do you think that's what's pushing you to go on with the people that you surround yourself with?
So I believe that you are a product of your environment, and the influences that people can have around you can be vast. But it's the choices you make ultimately that will dictate it. You can have people around you that can influence you, but it's only influence.
Yeah.
It's your choice as to what you do. Like, my wife has influenced me to be a lot more disciplined. She's influenced me to be committed like a professional athlete from a very early age when I first met. Early age, we met like 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
And since then, that's been a kind of game changer for the way I actually commit. And ever since then, that's when most of my success actually started to happen as well. Well, that's when success started to really take off. So I'm definitely a firm believer. Yes, you are a product of your environment, but ultimately it comes down to your own actions and how you commit yourself that really makes the biggest difference. It's your own commitment to what you do and how you do it that will have that impact. So yes, you can have great people around you. Like, this is why we've created the gym. Obviously, when it comes to environment, there's no other environment in this country that has the same atmosphere, the same athletes, the same caliber equipment, and that is a fact. But ultimately, it's my choice when I get in the gym as to what I do and how hard I train and how I spend my time in that gym as well.
Yeah.
So environment isn't everything. Yes, it can influence you, but it's ultimately your choice and how you commit and what you do that will make a biggest difference.
Yeah, definitely. When you said there's a choice, and it's going in with intent, having that focus and that intent to, right, this is what I'm actually going to do from there. In terms of, because you said there obviously about your own education and development, and I know for myself, looking at the content that you put out there, it's like, oh yeah, that's useful information. That makes sense. In terms of where do you look for in terms of for your development? Because obviously, at the level that you're at, who are you looking for to then be like, right, how do I increase my knowledge and how do I progress, whether that's your own training or the business side of things as well?
Again, it's the people around me. For business side of things, my business partners, I don't think it's ever going to get better than the lessons I get from them. In terms of training, Jordan has been my mentor for many years. He's one of the smartest minds when it comes to training. But not only that, is people I consult with, like John Jewett. I've done endless consults with John Jewett regarding various topics. Prescript, I've done level 1, level 2. I've actually got Coach Baxter with me for the next couple of days. We've just done pull, and we've filmed content as well off the back of that, and we've got legs today. So the way I look at it is, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. I'm very open-minded when it comes to learning and when it comes to actually challenging new ideas. And because I've got a lot of experience and now I've actually got an okay amount of knowledge to back it up with, it's not just experience, it's not just being in the trenches, it's also actually educating myself through the courses that I've done and through people I've been around with, and obviously seminars I've attended as well, and continuous coaching I get from these people and consultations I get from these people. I feel like I can bridge the gap between people that have been like myself and the people that are on a level where they're highly educated. And I kind of bridge that gap because I come to the middle ground where I bring both to the table, a little bit of academia that has been presented for me and the experience that comes with it as well. So I definitely feel like, that's what I can do well as well. But I think the most important thing is, for me, the way I look at learning and improving, again, when it came to school, I was never interested apart from anything that's not, that's to do with bodybuilding. That's the only thing I was ever interested in. So when it comes to nutrition, when it comes to training, I find it very easy to actually let the information sink in. So it's quite easy for me to learn from podcasts, from books, from courses that I do. And again, that's where I feel like I have the ability to continuously progress because I've got an open mind where I will never ever think that someone can't teach me something. Like, for example, I've got Baxter with me for the next 2 days. If I was just a meathead bodybuilder, I would look at Baxter and be like, this man cannot teach me a single thing. But fact of the matter is, he is one of the smartest minds in the industry. The attention to detail that he has when it comes to mechanics, the way your body moves and your function, it's just another level.
Yeah.
So the 3 hours that I've spent with him are worth the weight in gold. And the 3 hours I'm going to spend with him today are also worth the weight in gold.
Yeah.
So I surround myself with people that are not only smarter than me, but people that will challenge me and allow me to actually progress and allow me to actually move forward with my own knowledge through sharing the experiences with them.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a good way of looking at it, because I think sometimes, you know, people want to in some areas of coaching, people just want to be the fountain of all knowledge, whereas, you know, you can always learn off other people. And, you know, I really am a big fan of that phase of, if you're the smartest person in the room, right, go and find someone else, because you can always learn from that. In terms of your own coaching and your own training, and you touched on quite a lot of the people that you surround yourself with, how has that impacted your training and sort of coaching over time? As your training changed, or a couple of tweaks that you've made so that you can, you know, push on?
So how's my training changed? Oh man, I've pretty much gone from going in the gym and just doing whatever, just training as hard as I physically can, which that's the approach that I had 6 years ago, to where I am today, where every single movement is specifically selected for what I need and my structure and the way I'm able to execute and get the most out of it and stay injury free. So everything is calculated, everything has a purpose. And the most important thing, I have an understanding of what I'm doing and why I'm doing it as well, and how to track progression effectively and how to progress long term. So I've gone from pretty much being a person that was more in favor of go in the gym and just fucking kill yourself. And I am still that person now, right? But right now, I go in the gym and I kill myself with a method behind it and a thought process behind it and a plan. I think that's the most important thing. And I think the biggest game changer has been the ability to execute movements, and having a deeper understanding of what works and how it works. I think that's what makes the biggest difference, because we are all human beings, right? But we all don't move in the same way. When you gain a deeper understanding of how you need to execute and how you need to actually perform in the gym, I think that's the biggest game changer. And this is why I still coach, because when I'm assessing form clips, for example, it's a constant refresher of the knowledge that I've learned. This is why I still love coaching so much, because for me, it's not just coaching. I'm not just coaching someone. It's benefiting me, because I am seeing their flaws in their training. And it's a constant reminder for me as to what I cannot do and what I need to do better for my own training. Because when I'm constantly assessing these clips, and I gain experience in the eye to assess these clips, for example, and it's the same with contest prep, looking at pictures, whatever it is, right? It also is practice for my own process. So for me, being an athlete and a coach works hand in hand. Because it doesn't just improve my own process, it also improves my client's process, but it also gives me more experience and a better eye to pinpoint certain things, whether it's the training or the way they change in a contest prep, or patterns I see in a contest prep as well, or even in the training as well. That is the biggest thing that people overlook. It's getting those
reps in. The more you do something, it's more like, and the more you're watching it, it's that repetition.
100%.
One thing on there, and it just
repetition is a mother of skill, right? You do something more often, you see it over and over again, you get better at it.
Absolutely, you know, and the thing is their skill.
This is why I'm so obsessed with training, because it never stops. You always get better. You can always train harder. You can always train more accurately. And the more you do it, the deeper understanding you have of how you function as well. The better you can get at anything that you do.
You can see that that excitement on your face when you when you mentioned all that about getting better. One thing, and it popped into my head, I did say there might be a couple of tangents on there from the seminars and the people that you've trained with as well. What's been some of the exercises or tweaks that you've been, because seeing you training, you think, oh yeah, technique's good. What's been the biggest, oh wow, I didn't think about doing it that way, or the changes that you made? Has there been any tweaks that you found to be like, ah, shit, actually that's pretty good?
To be honest, mate, it's quite a lot of things, mate. Like rib cage position, pelvis position, breathing, contact points with your foot, contact points with your hand when you're pressing. The little things that you would never even think of. Like a small little thing, right? Your contact point with your foot when you're doing that pull down on the floor. Would you ever think of that? No, trust me, it makes a massive difference.
Right.
The way you position your pelvis, your rib cage position, your bracing, it all makes a tremendous difference. Even your hand position, your wrist position as well.
Yeah.
Like the little things that I speak about in the content that I do as well. Like, to some people that are arrogant and ignorant, they'll say, oh, it's overcomplicated. But there's some people that actually listen to it and take it on board and they try it themselves. It's like, you can see some of the comments, they're like, oh my God, this is mind blowing.
Yeah. I think that's the thing where you said it at the start, wanting to be open-minded with it.
You've got to be, and intricate details, and most importantly, the little things are what truly makes the difference. The little things, like the finer details that I've just spoke about, is what's going to make the big things click and be better. If you can nail your position on a bench or a squat pattern, what do you think is going to happen over time? You will make more progress off the back of that, and you'll probably stay safer. If you're not paying attention to these little variables and details, trust me, progression is not going to be quite as good. And likelihood is you're probably going to run into a bottleneck through an injury or running out of room for progression because your execution isn't there. Again, skill.
And how do you, because with that, because obviously we touched on the, watching your client check-ins and the footage, your own education. How do you, because sometimes, coaching, you need to meet that person there and, give that information to the clients and athletes that you work with.
Yeah.
How do you put that across to your clients? Do they always click with it, or does that take process for you to put that across?
So again, it's a skill. You cannot learn a skill over just one feedback. So with clients, I always explain to them like, look, you're not where you want to be just yet, but you will be in time.
Yeah.
What we are doing now is not going to come to fruition now. It's probably going to take you 6 to 12 months to get to a standard of execution of where you need to be. And that is when you will start truly making progress.
Yeah.
For some people, it's quite daunting, but some people understand it and they're like, actually, yeah, you're right. Because it's just like comparing a fresh start with any human being trying to learn a new skill, right? Training is a skill. The more you do it, the longer you've been doing it, the better you get it. You cannot expect to perform a movement or execute a movement the way I can when I've been training since I was 11 versus yourself when you've been in the gym 5 years.
Yeah.
It's just impossible.
Yeah.
And the thing is, all these little nuances that we're trying to apply right now, again, it's a fresh skill. It's going to take time for you to actually learn it and execute it correctly.
Yeah. And with that, because obviously, the difference in experiences, do you kind of drip feed how much information that you're giving the clients and athletes, and building that process up?
It's actually a good question, because I always say to my clients, there's levels to this. There's levels to this, right?
Yeah.
I start clients with things that are much easier to learn.
Yeah.
As they develop the skill, as the process gets deeper, as the training age gets higher, that is when I start really digging into them and really going complex with stuff. But first, they need to get a deeper understanding of just the position and knowing how the body's fucking moving.
Yeah.
Before I start getting into the finer details.
Yeah.
So again, there's levels to it. You cannot expect someone who's just a beginner-ish, because I've got guys that are very high level that I see as beginners.
Yeah.
You cannot expect someone to learn to fucking run before they can walk.
Yeah.
So you have to learn to walk before you start running. And it's the same process with training.
Yeah. And with because you've said that you've got a wide range of clients there, beginners to higher level athletes as well.
So let me just pull you on that one, because I don't necessarily work with beginners, like for people that are just starting. No,
yeah.
But what I mean by beginners is people that are quite advanced, but they are beginners because they have gotten to a position where they're super advanced through their hard work, not their skill in execution. So they are beginners when it comes to the skill set. They're not actual beginners. There's a big difference.
Yeah. And so with that then, because that's quite an interesting, because obviously if they've got training before and then you see them as beginners, how does that work? Because they might have had previous training before or methods, and is that sometimes challenging working
it's
with?
Not. No, it's not. Do you know why? When you present someone with a plan and you show them a better way of executing it, and all of a sudden they don't have shoulder pain, they don't have knee pain, they're making progress using far less loads, what do you think that person's going to feel like? They're going to be like, oh my God, this is great. So the first hurdle is getting them to actually trust the process of resetting, starting from scratch, and 9 times out of 10, dropping the loading by like 40%. Now, some people are willing to do that and accept it, they make progress. Some people, unfortunately, don't. And they just continue doing the same stuff and just looking the same. And that's okay as well, because if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. But the people that actually genuinely want to make progress, they will do that. And I can guarantee you, within the first 2 to 3 weeks, I've actually had a client that is a coach himself, a very high level coach. And I'm not going to name no names because you probably see him off one of our posts. The difference in his physique development the past 6 weeks, just with adjustment programming, paying attention to a lot of details outside of the gym, it's unbelievable. And he literally messaged me pretty much every other day saying, like, I can't believe the progress I'm making. But that has been literally tweaking a lot of the basic things that I would see basic. And again, executing in a much better fashion and a much calculated way in the gym. When you can get someone to trust that process and the progress really starts coming on with using far less supplementation, eating far less food, and using much less training volume, and all of a sudden, they're not only making progress, but they're also feeling fucking great because they're not completely trashed. They're recovering better and they're looking better, they're making progress. What do you think is going to happen? They're going to be excited. They're going to be like, oh my God, I'm all in. But the first hurdle is having someone with enough intelligence to actually be able to understand the process a little bit more. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, I think that's some really good points there. And it kind of just looping it back to because you've said there about buy-in. Do you think the fact that, right at the start we spoke about organization, managing your time, making sure that when we get work done, we get work done. Do you think that how you have that organization allows you to lead by example, and there already is that buy-in from there because they see you doing it as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think it's just that though, because I tend to only get and work with clients that are very much of a similar mindset as well, which I love, because I wouldn't really be able to work with people that are not quite as committed anymore. Like, I've done my time working with people that are, half in. Now, if you're not all in, you're not going to last with me. That's just as simple as that. So I'll say that straight away. And people and I think people have an understanding of that now. People that have worked with me and people that know of me, they know that now, that, unless you want to be all in, I'm not the right coach for you. We're better off working with someone else. And I'm happy with that. But in terms of the buy-in, right? The buy-in isn't me just doing it. The buy-in is getting someone else to do it, because the biggest bottleneck in any strength athlete, any bodybuilder, anyone that's dealing with high performance sport is the lack of discipline and structure to the day. Lack of sleep, meal timing. Your discipline and your structure to your day is everything when it comes to making progress, when it comes to meaningful progress. And I think The worst people for it are full-time athletes and coaches, because a lot of them just aren't organized. They wake up whenever, they do the work whenever, and they think they're going to perform well. It's like when you have no structure to your day, you just do whatever, what any given time. One, you're probably never going to get anything done. Two, your mealtime is probably terrible. Three, you're probably training at all different times of the day. Then your sleep's terrible. You know, your routine's inconsistent. All that is going to do is hold you back from making progress. Some people come to me and literally the only thing I get them to do is go to bed at the same time every day and wake up at the same time every day. And all of a sudden, they start growing, they start making progress, and they start being motivated because they're getting much sleep. So it's, you know, when you look at things from an outside perspective, because I know the difference these things make, this is where I stand out from the crowd, because the guys that always say, you know, I'm a coach first and all that, generally, they're the guys that have got terrible routine as well. You know, they're just up all times of the day. They're working at times where they're probably not even that productive. So it really makes a dramatic difference. So it's not just about leading from the front. It's about doing the shit that I know is going to make me thrive. And it's also the shit that's going to make other people thrive when it comes to the development.
Yeah, definitely. With that, because, you know, and I'm looking forward to the answer to this one. Sometimes people will say, "Oh, well, I got through a curveball. This happened. This happened." Obviously, in terms of that organisation of the day, do you have plan Bs or change routines? What happens if a curveball is thrown?
Tell me a curveball. Tell me a curveball that cannot be handled if you're not prepared.
Yeah.
Right. Tell me a curveball now that would throw me off.
Well, you've put me on spot now. I was going to say running late, but if you've planned your day out,
all my meals are ready in the fridge.
Yeah.
If I've got to leave house now for any emergency, I've got my meals ready for the day. I've got all my water ready. All my intra workouts are ready. My pre-workouts are ready. What curveball can you give me right now that would throw me off track? Go.
Sound like you've got
everything's prepared for the day already, all done. Yeah. You tell me a curveball that would make me deviate from the plan, right? I got up this morning at 4:45. All my check-ins are completed. My work is done. It's 9:10, right? All my meals are ready. Tell me a curveball right now that would throw me off or prevent me from training, prevent me from getting my meals in, or prevent me from getting in bed on time tonight. Tell me a curveball right now.
I can't think of one.
The curveballs only happen due to lack of being organised and not structuring your days and not getting on top of your shit.
Yeah. And with because touching on that, throwing a question at me, put me on the spot. With that, you can see the confidence in terms of, no, I've got that planned out now. And do you think that's what when people say, "Oh, I've been thrown a curveball," it's the lack of confidence in their organisation? Does that kind of make sense?
It's not just lack of confidence; it's actually being not organised.
Yeah,
that's all it is. Like today, for example, if I had to really do something, or something happened at the gym, right, and I need to train overtime, yeah. I can train overtime because my day's organised. My bulk of my work is finished. My meals are ready. What curveball can you give me right now that will make me deviate from a plan?
Yeah.
There's nothing in there unless something, you know, a major accident happens to someone in my family. But even then, I've got my meals, I've got my water, I'm prepared.
Yeah. Why do you think, in terms of, and this is probably touching on sort of like the mindset of folks, I think, why do you think sometimes people not being organised is such an issue, if you like, or such a struggle for a lot of people?
It's just lack of discipline. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's your choice. It's your choice. It's my choice to, right. I know at what time of the day I'm productive the most.
Yeah.
It's bright and early in the morning. It's my choice to get in bed early, so I know I can get my sleep, wake up early, get organised, get my meals organised, and get my work complete on time.
Yeah.
Curveballs and deviation from the plan is lack of discipline and lack of commitment. That's all it is.
Yeah.
If your goals mean enough to you, there's not going to be a curveball, because again, once you develop that structure and routine and discipline, it's second nature.
Yeah.
There's some days that I'm not super motivated to get shit done. I'm not motivated to get on my fucking Stairmaster to do my HIIT work. I'm not motivated to take my dog out at 5:15 in the morning when it's pissing rain and it's freezing and my hands are falling off. I'm not motivated to do that, but I'm going to do that anyway because that is my routine. That's my non-negotiable. I need to get my steps in. I need to get my steps in for the work because mentally I know I can work better.
Yeah.
I'm not motivated to get my meals ready for the following day after meal one.
Yeah.
But does that mean I'm not going to do it? I get it done.
Yeah.
So ultimately what it comes down to, it's just pure discipline. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's your choice what you do with the hours you've got given.
Yeah. Because obviously you've said about your goals there. We've said about the choices for it. How do you break up your goals? Is that based on the competitions that have coming up? Because like what you've said there, sometimes you're not going to be motivated to go out and get your steps done. How do you keep those clear goals, those focuses? Is that based on time frames or just that constant pursuit of, right, I want to get better?
So timelines that I build out for myself and clients, yes. But my goals often merge into one. My business goals and my personal goals and my bodybuilding goals are merged into one. If I don't get up on time, I'm not getting adequate recovery. If I'm not getting adequate recovery, I'm not making as much progress in the gym. If I'm not getting adequate recovery, I'm not as sharp for my work. I'm not as creative for my work. I'm not as good with my content. I'm not as good with my feedback from my clients. If I'm missing meals, I'm not as switched on or energetic to give back to my clients. I can't perform as well in the gym. Do you get it?
Yeah.
It all works in one.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a couple of things on there in terms of planning out and everything from there. And I think the constant theme has been that there's a choice, get organized. And I don't think it's a little bit like you said. You've got a client, you work with some clients and just say go to bed at this time, get up at this time. I know we've gone into the details of the movements that we're doing in training, but sometimes that will be the basics, if you like, of those organizations and time management.
Absolutely, mate. It's 9 times out of 10, inability to adhere to the plan is down to poor time management and poor discipline. That's all it is.
Yeah. And with the obviously we mentioned about in your off season now on the plans going forward and your goals going forward, what can we expect to see from Cuba going forward? What's the plans as we come to the end of this year, heading into next year?
So I've got a timeline set for a big off season now, big off season push up. That's going to end of April. So I've got some certain bodyweight goals and everything else that I want to hit. And then I'll have a maintenance phase. That's more bodybuilding goals and another push up. And then the next contest prep is actually going to start in January 2024. Potentially, I'm going to look at calendar and decide from there. But that is the vision right now, based off what I've got planned. Now, hand in hand with that, I'm definitely aiming to open 2 more gyms. One of them is 100% on the card. Second one is work in progress as well. So from a business perspective, 2 more gyms. And again, we've got some housing projects with my wife as well that I'm getting stuck into. And definitely the coaching side of things is I am aiming to just work with high level clientele right now. So I'm not a coach that's just going to take on anyone or take on numbers. I've got 2 girls that are working for myself and my wife. They deal with guys that are coming up and they obviously get support from us. So in order for me to be the best version of myself, it's a constant pursuit of progression with everything that I do. So that's the goal, man. The goal is just to get better all around and just keep moving forward. This year's been a big year with my education, with bodybuilding, with training, with everything else around it as well. So it's more of the same. Next year's going to be the same, just bigger and better. And that's what it's all about. You've got to keep moving forward. Like we've got a little, both myself and my wife, we do check-ins for each other, and we've got a goal sheet on our checking sheet. And a lot on that goal sheet is just a lot of simple things that are more down to me. There's a lot of business stuff, a lot of bodybuilding stuff, and like I say to you, it all goes hand in hand because if I'm not performing well as a bodybuilder, it crumbles everything else. If I'm not getting my sleep, I'm not getting my sleep. I'm not getting my meals in. You know, I'm not going to be as good to perform at anything else that I do.
Yeah.
I'm not fit enough. I'm not strong enough. You know, it'll make me miserable. If my training's not going well, I'll not be as happy. And for me, the main most important thing is staying happy. When I'm happy, I'm a better husband. I'm a better coach. I'm a better athlete. I'm a better person all around. And that's the goal. You know, there's a thing that I actually said to a few people in my life. It's like, I'm not the person I want to be yet, but I am on my way there. So the goal is to be the person that I aspire to be. I'm not there yet, but I will be.
Yeah. I think that was you touched on it. It's a domino effect, you know, and the thing that you mentioned there, you can see that passion and excitement. That's why I wanted to ask that question. You can see that heading into next year, and absolutely all those things. Ultimately, you know, it's something that you enjoy, that you're driven to do. So it's going to make you want to do things from there.
I'm like a dog with a bone. You know, it's when I set goals and I commit to something, nothing's going to get in the way and nothing's going to stop me.
Yeah. Awesome.
Especially the support that I get from wife and stuff. It's like, no matter what, shit's going to happen and shit's going to, you know, get done. Yeah. No matter what. Yeah. And that's the way we operate, you know. Definitely. And I think that's definitely a blessing to have, you know. And I think a lot of people, the reason why they don't reach their goals, they don't have that drive in them. It's like, I could feel like death right now and I would still get shit done. Yeah. It's always your choice. And the thing is, I am living my own dream right now. Like, what I'm doing right now has been my dream since I was a kid. Yeah. And I will never forget that, because I'm privileged to do what I do right now. Mm. And I'm blessed to be in a position that I am in right now. You know, I'm healthy. I'm making sort of progress both in and outside of the gym. Like, I am living the life that I've always wanted to live. But like I said, I'm not where I truly want to be yet, but I will be. And I think that in itself is what drives me to really be better, because there's people that I seek inspiration from that have really, really got to a place that I wish to be one day. Yeah. For me to do that, it's going to require a lot of work. Yeah. So every day is an opportunity to do that. You know, it sounds cliche. Some people are going to think, oh my God, what a dickhead. You know, but that's just the way I am. And anybody that knows me knows how regimented I am with this, and knows how I commit to each every single day. And to be honest, I'm lucky, to be honest. I'm lucky to have the people around me and have friends that understand, family that understand, and more importantly, obviously my wife, because I don't think that a normal person could live with me with the way I am and the way I commit to stuff. That's true. Yeah, that's true, because they have to be on the same wavelength as you. They have to be on the same wavelength as you. If they're not on the same wavelength, they would be left far behind. Yeah. And luckily enough, she's on the same wavelength. She's an animal, so
awesome. Yeah. And I think as well, like, I love that saying, you know, right now you're living the life that you wanted, and you'll get there, you'll get to where you want to be. And I think that's exciting, you know, chasing that what keeps you driven, because you want to keep it, and also, you know, get that extra. So it's not just reaching goals, mate. It's the process that we love. Yeah. Reaching the goals that I've reached has literally meant nothing when I got there. Empty feeling, mate. And I mean empty, nothing. It's what I do to get there. That's the fucking beauty of it. Yeah. This is why I'm so comfortable being in a longer off season as a bodybuilder. This is why I'm so comfortable playing long game across everything that I do, because for me, it's not just the end product that I focus on. It's more so day-to-day grind that I love. And I think if many people could learn how to fall in love with the process, that's when you start thriving, because it's all about the process is what makes me happy. The process is what drives me. It's not the end goal. It's not achieving a business goal. It's not achieving, you know, the progress that I made or a placing or competing itself. That means fucking nothing to me. It really does. You know, don't get me wrong, there's sentiment and emotional sentiment there,
that you know makes you feel great on the day. You enjoy the day, but that's it. That's not the driving factor. That's not what makes me get out of bed in the morning. Yeah. What makes me get out of bed in the morning is knowing that, right, today's a fucking new day. You know, I can do something to be better. I can make progress in the gym. It's like Meg was sat earlier at the table. I was like, I'm gonna do 4 plates in that hack today. You know, we've got backstring. I feel fucking good. Last week I did 3.5 plates for like 12 reps. Today I'm gonna go a little bit lower rep range, but I'm gonna hit 4 plates on it. You know, I know I will. I know I can. And that's the normal fucking talk in the morning. In the morning after eating breakfast, you know, with us.
Yeah.
So, and again, I'm thinking about that session at fucking 8:30 in the morning once I finish my work.
Yeah.
That's the, you know, that's the shit. If you can get to a place with that, that's when you're literally living the dream every single day, because I'm living my passion every single day. Now, if that's not your passion, that's okay. But I truly hope that people do find something that makes them feel like this, because it's like, I can't explain it to people that can't relate, that don't have the same thing, because they just won't feel the same way about something.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's you kind of the last question I had down was, from everything that we've chatted about there, what would be your take home points or words of wisdom? But actually,
I've just said it.
Absolutely. You must have been reading me notes. I thought that was, in terms of everything that we've spoken about there, I thought that was, you know, a really good way of, you know, enjoying that process. And I think everything that we've had, you know, that organization and finding something that, like you say, you know, enjoying that process, having that excitement about it. Whereas there's actually, I think it's actually Jim Carrey did a speech where it's like, you can actually fail at doing something that you don't actually enjoy. What's the point? You want to be able to do something, can actually go after anything from there. So thanks a lot, Cuthbert, for taking the time to jump on.
Failing at something you love is not really failure as well. It's always a lesson.
Yeah, absolutely.
If something's not going your way, find out the reason why, and you know, that in itself will be a success, because you can turn that failure into success really quick.
Yeah. Well, that's it. You know, you've got to learn from it, and that way it's like, right, what could I have done better there, or what could I have done differently?
100%.
Yeah. Yeah. I was looking forward to having you on. Really enjoyed chatting with you today. For anyone listening who might have any questions about what we've chatted about today, see the content that you put out there, where can people find you or reach out to you?
Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Just put my name in, Cuba Sylvester Chelling, and you'll find me. If you don't know how to spell my actual original second name, it's fine. Anyone can spell Sylvester, and Cuba is spelled with K. So Kuba, not C, please. Yeah, not the country, you know, K. So yeah, make sure you get on that.
Awesome. Thanks again for taking the time to jump on. Really enjoyed chatting with you today. Thanks a lot to everyone listening, and I will see you all next week.
I appreciate it, Wood. Thank you.